Good morning, students. So we have started with the new chapter, that is collection of data. The meaning has been explained to you, the synopsis of the complete chapter, the key terms which we are going to use in this chapter. There are two sources of data, that is internal sources and external sources. External sources of data is further divided into two parts, that is primary and secondary. And this primary and secondary data can be collected via using that is census or sampling technique. Then also the difference between primary and secondary data has been explained to you. The primary data is a real-time data, but the secondary data is collected from the past data. Now we are going to discuss some examples related to primary and secondary source of collection of data. We see here that the primary data collected by ourselves, and the secondary data is the information gathered from another source. The examples, few examples, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some examples are enumerated here. Weights of students of our class. Now, if I am measuring, I'm asking the students to stand on a weight scale and then taking their weights, jotting down their weights. So that is collection of primary data. That is, I am collecting the data, raw data in real time. Number of plants in our locality. I am going to count the number of plants in my locality. So that is again the real-time data which I am going to collect. So it is an example of primary data. Number of boys and girls in our classroom. So how many boys and girls, like for example 12 humanities, in my class there are 40 students. Out of that, how many girls and how many boys are there? So that is again the real-time data which I am collecting. So it is an example of primary data. Number 4, the example says as number of runs scored by Sachin Tendulkar. Now this is not a primary data. I am not the source who is collecting the data on real-time basis. These data are recorded. These are recorded data, and from that data, if I am collecting the data that so far Sachin Tendulkar, the cricketer, the legend of Indian cricket, has scored so and so runs till now. So that is the collection of secondary data. Rainfall in our city in the last 10 years. Now the weather forecast or this department, they collect the data and they give their, it has been recorded in their record that what is the rainfall in our city in the last 10 years. So I'm collecting from that data, so it becomes a secondary data. So if I'm collecting data from any source, that becomes the secondary data. Now if I talk about collection of primary data, so primary data are collected via 6 different methods, and we are going to discuss each method in detail. So there are 6 common methods of collecting primary data: direct personal investigation, indirect personal investigation, investigation through questionnaires, investigation or collection through investigators or enumerators, investigation through local reports, and investigation through telephone or email. So the first method, that is method of collecting primary data, this is also known as personal interview method. As we can see a picture here, there are 2 candidates sitting here, and in front of that 2 candidates, 1 candidate is sitting here. So this person is fighting the interview. So this is known as how direct personal investigation is collected. So under this method, the investigator collects the data personally. He approaches the objects, conducts the inquiry on the spot, collects information, and does the needful. For the successful collection of data under this method, it is necessary that the investigator should be polite, unbiased, and aware of the local conditions, environment, and languages. So students, when we need, some collection of data which can be done on face-to-face basis, so in that case, what has to be considered by you, you should be able to understand the mindset of the person who is sitting in front of you, or the respondent I can call here, as I've already explained you who is a respondent. You should be able to manipulate, or you should be able to mold your questions according to the requirement of the respondent and according to the area of your study and predetermined objective of your study. So this is what is direct personal investigation. Now I talk about indirect oral investigation, the second method of collecting the data. This method is useful when the respondent doesn't want to respond directly to the investigator. That means, for example, if I want to conduct a survey related to a group of college students who smoke. So if I directly approach the student that do you smoke, so definitely the answer may be, in maximum cases the answer may be no. No matter, even if they smoke, they will reply no. So in that case, the best way to collect the data is via indirect oral investigation. That means you visit or you ask their friends for this data. So here, when the respondent doesn't want to respond directly to the investigator, in that case this method is used. The investigator, instead of directly approaching to the informant, contacts third parties known as witness, capable of supplying the necessary information. As I told you, friends can give you data related to the smoking habit of their friends. Police department, for clues about thefts and murders, uses this procedure by interrogating friends or relatives or third parties capable of supplying the necessary information. Even one very good example has been enumerated here, that this method is generally used by police departments when there is a case of theft and murder. So their near and dear ones can be interrogated in order to get the proper information. So students, today we have discussed these two methods of collection of data. Tomorrow we will be discussing the remaining 4 methods of collection of data. So thank you so much.